All right. Pan the camera to Chili. Look at him. What the crap, man?
Hello.
All right then. Well, I'm used to it by now. You know, if y'all don't watch the YouTube channel very much, well, maybe it comes through on the audio too. Hopefully you've realized that when I say I'm ready for the podcast to happen, all these people that are in here that attend the podcast, none of them are ever ready when I'm ready for the podcast to happen.
Oh, I'm ready.
The tech guy, he usually has his gear jacked up. Where have you been, Aunt B? Aunt B's just walking in now. Chili's got his hat over his face.
You can't let nobody know when you're doing anything.
So I'm used to.
He wants everybody to operate on his time, but don't tell him his time.
To come on this podcast, I literally have to suspend my entire morning and wait on you to text me and say you're heading here, because you won't choose a time to do it and just say, hey, we're doing the podcast at 12, meet us there. Or even like between 12 and 12:30. I have to just sit and wait and not do anything. Don't engage in anything that might take too long. And wait for you to say, we're on the way to the office.
You
and
gotta
then
be
I
on
head
standby.
here. Right. Well, today he didn't say, we're on the way to the office. He said, we're leaving the range, and then we're going to go eat. And I figured it'd probably be, I don't know how long that takes y'all.
Well, you know why that happened, right?
Why?
Hey,
He incurred just an ugly loss at the range today. We had a competition. We did the horse thing again with rifles. Me versus, I mean, it was atrocious. Like, I think Blakely could have won. He was missing at like 5 yards with his rifle. He was taking multiple shots on the long. It literally the worst shooting I've probably ever seen from anybody.
So he's just a little befuzzled and forgot to let me know to come here.
no,
He's just kind of like,
I gotta
just
go.
wallowing in it.
I gotta go back to the chiropractor.
You need to go back to the gun practice.
You said you don't believe in the chiropractor. Why would you go back?
The best I ever shot was when one time I went to the chiropractor, and he had this little gun thingy, and he was putting that thing on my face, going all over my my eye orbs and stuff, and he straightened out my vision, man. And I went out the next day after he did all that, and I shot, and man, I was like just so crisp. My vision and my ability to hit the target. I mean, he lined me up. Have you ever had your skull adjusted like that, baby?
No.
Bad when your skull gets out of alignment.
Yeah, I've never.
Yeah,
had
that's
that
a lot
done.
of problems that I have. Yeah, he was readjusting all these cracks in my cranium and around my eye lobes. He knew they were out of socket too. He knew they were.
I didn't know you had sockets in your cranium.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, your skull socket.
Eye socket.
I'm already back out of whack. So today it's like everything was real fuzzy. I wasn't moved. My reaction time and my reflexes were low. So I'm going to go back to the chiropractor before we do another competition, which is coming. By the way,
I think that's hilarious.
this is
ugly.
the 3 of
That's
7
his excuse.
This is the 3 of 7 podcast. This is not a podcast. This is a pobcast. Okay? So that's the first order of business I have for you guys. This is a podcast. Order of business 2 is, I'm going to take this up with you, boo-boo.
I'm pulling up YouTube.
The listeners do not like it when you disrespect your husband the way you do. You just came up on this podcast and disrespected me with your old cackling hen. Somebody couldn't show me this and that and this and that. Look, if you want to be up on this podcast, you operate off of my schedule, boo.
That's what I'm doing.
Don't come up on here and disrespect me, because the listeners get really upset about that, okay? We need to keep things in the proper order here.
I'm currently making a decision whether to engage with him today or not. What do you think, Blake? Like, he's obviously, this is what happens. So when he gets crushed in a competition, his ego gets a little pushed down, you know? And stuff like that is how he raises it back up.
Yeah.
Is like attacking people or just trying to get a rise out of people because it makes him feel powerful, you know? Like, oh, I just made you mad. Look at me, you know? And
He's got an excuse for
it'll
everything.
make him forget how badly you crushed him today.
Yeah.
Oh, and a chiropractor excuse is great too, isn't it?
I told him on the video, he talks crap when he's winning and he talks crap when he's losing about why he's losing. It's like all he does is just talk crap, just a bunch of nonsensical.
Yep. Boo, it's okay that you lost. Can I just tell you for just a minute that you don't always have to win at everything.
Look,
you are wait. You're important to me. You're valuable. I love you. You're a great husband. You're a great brother. Just because you don't win doesn't mean you're any less important to me, okay?
Yeah. All that
I love
stuff's
you.
true, but you still suck at shooting, man. You freaking burned your leg with your suppressor.
Did you really?
Yeah, he missed targets all day, as slow as a dang turtle.
Babe.
He couldn't even run fast. He was trying to do sprints. It looked like, he was doing that all-night pace. Like he was on the rock course. I was like, man, try to run, like we're trying to do this fast.
You better go get them sockets looked at ASAP.
Look how he's holding his mouth. That's how
he's
you know
mad.
he's like,
yeah. Like this.
He's all pursed up, isn't he?
Yeah.
yeah. He's
What's
so
wrong
mad.
with Chili?
He's not here. Chili's not here today.
Did you make him mad, Boo?
No, I didn't
He's
make
not
him
here.
mad.
Somebody had to have made him mad if he's sitting here with his hat. He's got his hat over his face.
That's not Chili.
So you can't see him.
Boo, I want you to start referring to me,
No.
okay, from this point forward on the podcast and in our day-to-day life as your immaculate lover. Okay? So I just that is going to be the new mandate in our relationship. Just please refer to me as the immaculate lover.
TIL, baby.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
Thank you, the immaculate lover.
You're welcome, Boo Boo. I'm always here for you. I'm always here to be your immaculate lover, baby.
You better watch out with them shorts with that stance you got.
Filthy.
He ain't gotta
Chili said it's filthy.
he ain't gotta worry about that.
Well, for all you guys,
Man, move your arm and your leg. Can't nobody even. Good, jeez.
for all you guys that are tuning in, welcome back to the 3 of 7 podcast. It's been quite a while. We've been out of town. We ran our Alpine mission this past week. We do that once a year. It's kind of the pinnacle of training that we put on here at 3 of 7 Project. We had a very successful course out there, an amazing team, amazing group of people. We'll talk a little bit about that here after a while. Shea Butler has got the new Intrepid for sale right in time for hunting
I
season.
think that's called the Instinct.
The Instinct. Which one does he make? That's the Intrepid.
That's the basic course knife. we had.
Okay, yeah. So the Intrepid's the larger, like more bushcraft. The Instinct is like the everyday carry.
Yeah.
But the Instinct is also a fixed blade, so it's got enough surface area along the edge to do some pretty heavy duty skinning and cutting work. It's not a knife that you would want to like baton wood with or pry with or anything like that. But as a hunting knife, it's a great hunting knife to gut a deer, to skin an animal, whatever. It's nice and light. The handle's nice and thin. It's kind of skeletonized, and it's comes with a Kydex sheath, so that comes with the knife. And this new model he just came out with in partnership with 3 of 7 Project has bright orange or like hunter orange grips on it. And a lot of people think, Well, you know what? That's just for style. That is not just for style. That is for function. How many daggone times, I can't count how many times I have killed a deer and I'm out at night in the woods gutting the deer, and you set your knife down and you can't find the dang thing. It's right, it's right there in the leaves somewhere, right? You set it down, you even pay attention to where you set it down, then you go back to look for the darn thing, and it takes you 2 or 3 minutes to pick it up and find it again. So I thought that was an awesome design to make those grips that highlighter orange or hunter orange color. It's a functional thing for a hunting knife, 100%, man.
Yeah, they all got the logo engraved on them. They're all serialized.
Yeah. Shay makes awesome blades. If you guys haven't seen them, if you don't buy the Instinct, well, check out the other knives he has. He makes some really awesome custom designed knives. These aren't your Walmart, your Walmart specials or even your production knives like your Benchmades and stuff. It's kind of a step above that. So I'll attach a link to the Instinct, the new color scheme that Shay came out with for hunting season. I'll attach that in the show notes of this episode. If you're too dumb to find the show notes, you probably don't need to be carrying a knife. Okay? So if you can't find the show notes, just don't worry about it, because you just disqualified yourself from even carrying a knife.
Is it a limited supply of those?
The orange ones it is.
Yeah, Shay makes stuff in small batch. He's not a mass production type of guy. So there'd be limited quantities on that. I don't know exactly what they are, but
Chili, if they go to the website, is the link to them in our website?
Yeah, the link is to the original colorways.
Yeah.
Okay.
It should be the same link.
Yeah.
And if you go on our website, you will see that it clearly directs you to Shay's website and is marked out of stock simply so you won't place an order on our website, because we are not selling them and shipping them. Shay is. So please read that if you have the ability to read and you are literate. Then click the link and go over to Shay's website, and then you can purchase the knife.
We put these extra difficulties in, to just... what we're doing is we're pre-qualifying people to actually buy the knife. I get complaints all the time or I see complaints all the time on the Truck Talk videos. People are saying, "Why you need to attach a link to the t-shirts in the episode description. I had to actually go and type in the website address. What the heck?" Well,
that's crazy, ain't it?
What the crap, man? What the crap?
That's a shame what the world's gotten to.
You are so...
dang shame.
We are so dang just covered up in our absolute convenience and instant gratification in our day-to-day life that if I tell you to go to a website, you get pissed off if you have to type in www.3of7project.com.
Ain't nobody putting the W's in there
you
anymore.
You just want to have a little hyperlink that you can click. Well, we do this kind of stuff to weed folks out.
Plus, a lot of people get scammed clicking on links, man. We're trying to stop the link clicking.
Well, y'all don't want any turds carrying around your knife, right? Like, you don't want someone to
Or
see.
or wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. We ain't
Just ask ChatGPT to do the link for you if you don't want to do it.
Where's the link to the basic course registration, Chad, or the ROP course registration? Where's that?
I don't even think that exists.
That's conspicuously left out,
you have
too.
to send an email.
Dang.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole nother level, actually having to send it. What's the guy say on Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? The guy that's running for office, he says, "We ain't one at a time in here. We're mass communicating."
Chad,
we're one at a time in here.
Yeah, well, Chad is definitely one at a time. I saw that today.
Yeah.
He counts to 6 one at a time. One.
What happened there? What happened there? Did my brain short circuit? What did I actually do?
Oh well,
Can somebody explain that saw it from the outside, because I was on the inside.
well, the drill was that we were going to shoot this course of fire 3 times, and the course of fire was 1 shot at the 200-yard mark and 1 shot at the 150 mark. So that would mean you would end the drill at the 150. And Chad was set. No, you've got to finish at the 200. So he said, pointing at 200-yard, 1. Pointing at the 150-yard, 1. 1. 1. Oh, yeah. You're right. You will be down there.
That was unbelievable. It's like he only has access to one number.
So on his hands, he was saying...
He can't count. He just has to tally.
He was saying 1. So that... okay, that's 6. And where did that... Okay, that's where I ended.
Can you imagine if you had 10 numbers?
The smoke said Velcro shoes
0,
are
1,
awesome.
9,
I think he's suggesting maybe Chad get him a set of Velcros.
That's why I wear these things. They don't have laces on them. They just got these knobs I can turn to tighten them up. This is your new school Velcro shoes right here.
Oh, man.
Man, yeah, that was... Man, I don't know what was going on with me this morning.
Look, you want to beat Chad, engage his mind and make him shoot a long distance. He's done.
If you want to beat him at something, just count to 10.
Yeah. Well, just talking about engage his mind. But you got to move through the numbers, right? Count to 10 by the correct number.
Is anybody even watching this?
It got 370 people on
Holy
here, man.
crap,
Talk
YouTube.
about something worth
What is
saying.
up, YouTube?
What's up,
Hey,
YouTube?
Talk
YouTube.
about something worth saying.
What's up, YouTube?
YouTube, I got a daggone question for you, man.
Uh-oh.
What the crap are you doing right now watching a podcast?
Podcast.
A podcast at freaking 1300, man.
By some dude who can't even count.
Yeah. Do y'all not work or train? What the heck, man? Deer season's coming up. Are y'all not out scouting the woods? Y'all up in here watching a podcast at 1300? What are y'all doing, man?
They're all working from home or eating lunch, you know? Mailman said he just finished up his bike ride. He's about to be counting that money.
I'll tell you what, mailman. I saw your bike you posted that you bought the other day. Mailman bought him a bike, some off of Facebook Marketplace
I saw
or
that
something.
too.
And whew, son, it's gonna be real interesting to see how Mailman does on TNGA.
He said
next
he's just
year.
getting ready to count that money.
You know, I bet him $1,000, boo boo.
I know, I heard.
Okay, what's the other people doing on YouTube?
Oh, well, one guy said it ain't but 10 a.m. in California. Lunch hour.
Well, there's your problem. You living in California, son. You've
Retired.
got to get out of that place, man.
Retired vet. Waiting on my next class to start.
Oh, we've got a student on here.
Day off. One guy from Poland.
Who has a day off on Wednesday? Does nobody work anymore?
Man, they work them 12 hours, you know. 3
Good
on,
night.
2 off, that kind of deal. So
All right. Well, that'll be fine. If y'all want to watch this podcast, go ahead and watch it.
we're up to 4.
It's like you could be out hanging a deer stand right now, man, and you're up here watching a podcast.
You guys, calm
What the
down.
heck, man?
What did you say a
Somebody-
minute ago to him? That
You
was
could
very
be out
like,
washing your Land Cruiser, man.
You need to rein yourself in and like let's get to a real conversation.
Poppy's on here. He said he's off today.
Oh no, Poppy wasn't off today. Poppy had to go to the doctor's appointment today, son.
That's true, yeah.
Had to
had
go
to-
see Chardell.
Poppy had to go see Chardell today.
Chardell.
What?
Chardell said, "Time for you to get another surgery."
Chardell, man. Well, he's all the time trying to get you in that surgery, ain't he, Poppy? Poppy had a daggone neck surgery, man. Joker had the worst neck surgery you could probably have in the history of neck surgeries. I mean, they just stove him up. Does he even have a neck anymore, Poppy?
They cut it off. They cut it off and sewed his head to his
Man,
shoulders.
he's missing his 5th appendage, man.
Hey, Poppy, we went in there and he cut his neck, slam off. He come out next week. He went and seen Chardell, and Chardell said, "Oh no, you're gonna have another surgery. You're gonna have surgery."
You have to have your neck put back on.
I don't trust these freaking doctors for nothing, man. That's actually going to lead me into my main topic today. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the Alpine trip. Chili, kick that off, man.
Well, all I remember is, this is for the people that were on the Alpine mission, not the people that we're talking to now that are listening. But all I got to say is, man, it was like a tick.
It really was.
It really was, wasn't it?
Like a tick?
I mean,
It was like a tick.
Like a tick, man.
How so?
Oh, that's just for them. You wouldn't get it. You're not a mountain goat.
Just think of anything you know about a tick, and that's what it was.
Yep.
Blake, what was your main takeaway? What was your main takeaway from the Alpine mission?
Besides that.
Besides
like a tick, yeah.
Don't depend on Chili to pick us a good spot to eat.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of out on the mountain, but yeah, you definitely, you've got to give Chili at least a 2-year notice if you want him to go ahead and have your spots ready to eat. So we
2
did.
years.
So when we travel, Chili has basically one job. The whole reason that he comes along is so that he can pick our places where we're going to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner when we're not actually out on the mission, because we go out there a day early and we stay a day after. And horrible failure on this last trip. He did.
Disagree.
Now when he does do his job, you can take Chili anywhere in the United States, potentially anywhere in the world, and he's going to find the absolute best places to dine.
To dine.
Yes. These aren't going to be like places where, if you Googled what's the number one place in this city or this town to eat, he's not going to pick those places. He's going to pick the true best place to eat. I mean, he's done it time and time again in city after city. He just nails it. How do you actually do that, Chill?
Well, do you think I'm going to divulge that?
Well, just give the people a little advice so when they're traveling, they can at least try.
Okay. Be more like me. That's how.
Well,
Such a freaking politician.
He's not going to answer that, but
he's not going to answer anything.
Okay, well, look. You said if it's number one on, whatever list that I won't pick it. It may end up being that restaurant potentially in some places. It's not often, but it may be. It's just I'm not going to pick it because of that. If you think you're good at picking restaurants and you go look at reviews or you go look at Travel Advisor or something, you're a daggum idiot.
Hey.
He's
right.
If you look at reviews, have you ever stopped and considered who leaves a review on a restaurant? It's not people you trust, man.
I leave reviews on restaurants every time I like one.
Exhibit A.
What? What does that mean?
Exactly.
Explain what you're saying to me.
I'm saying if you leave a review on a restaurant, I ain't taking your restaurant advice.
You eat my food all the time.
Yeah, your food's good, but I ain't going to your recommendation of a restaurant. No way, no how.
That is true because Biscuit.
What the crap?
If she leaves a review on a restaurant, they don't even have to have the best food, but if they have good service and they're nice, she'll leave them a review.
Well, that's how most people are, and then the other half is just smooth brains that complain about something that wasn't even a complaint because they're too dumb to even realize what was going on. No, man, you can't go off of reviews. You have to use my proprietary method, which I'm just not going to divulge unless you will pay me $10,000, and then I'll do it.
And a lot of people are asking why you have a hat over your face today.
What?
You heard me. Don't say what.
What?
I'm going to get us on track here. Something worth talking about. But
well, I do want to say too before you go that route, Chili.
Blake.
Blake. I mean Blake.
Yeah.
There goes my freaking brain short circuiting.
One.
Come on, spit it out.
Hey,
come on, man.
most people don't even know what good food is either.
No, you're right.
I mean, they have no concept of what truly good food is.
You're right, man. Sad.
Yeah. So I have noticed that. That's one thing I'll tell you guys, listeners, that Chili does. And I'm not joking, man. I'm not joking. This dude can pick the spots to eat. He doesn't pay any mind to the reviews. And he will, I've seen him do it. He will look at the pictures of the food. So that's one thing that I know he is doing that he won't tell us the whole thing, but that's one I know. So Blake, what's up, man?
Everybody on here's wanting to see my haircut, but
yeah.
Old
You
baby
should show
head.
it.
Old baby
You ain't gonna
head.
get
No,
to see this.
don't step in front of the camera with
you
that,
ain't gonna
man.
get to see this.
He looks like a freaking child, man.
No, he doesn't. He looks good.
No, he
Poor
doesn't. He
baby
looks like a baby
See?
head, man.
Told you.
You guys are upset because he looks handsome and y'all still look trashy. That's what's going on here.
Looked like a piece of.
It
It looked
look,
like an empty tater bag chip.
A man is supposed to have hair all up on him. Look, if God didn't want a man to have a beard and long hair, he would have made him bald. God made man with hair.
Chili, shut up.
And any of y'all that think that I'm wrong, and all y'all out there getting haircuts and stuff, just remember one thing. The wages of sin is death. We just heard a story earlier today.
What?
Look, let your hair grow, man.
This is.
You're going to be a lot more
the way
successful.
you keep your hair is the way you keep your life.
Did you just say that cutting your hair is possibly a sin?
No, I didn't say that. I just said the wages.
He did allude to that.
He
but
did.
Anybody listening, that's wrong.
That was two separate it was two separate.
But why did you put them back
Thanks.
to back?
Because that was something that was on my mind right then.
It's kind of like the 1-1 thing.
Yeah, it popped into my head, and I just figured I'd put that out
The
there.
wages of sin are death. And then move on
Yeah, it
to
had
the
nothing, that had nothing to do with cutting your hair.
Yeah.
It was,
You tell him, Bishop Chad.
yeah. Thank you, Pope Chili. All right, what did you have to say, Blake?
I was just going to talk about, our time there. I think it was maybe the first evening where you read that quote about how people who won't learn in plenty will learn in necessity. Where when you got a lot in your life and, you can get by with letting certain things slip, over time, eventually those accumulate, and you're going to be slipping so much that you ain't going to have nothing, and you're going to have to really learn how to figure it out because of the necessity of having to figure it out. And we saw that manifest itself in a way in the mission when there was a necessity to get something done. They had to overcome the stuff that they didn't really have to address when they had all the comforts. And, a lot we were asking them, a lot of them were talking about, caring about what other people think on a level that they don't really recognize. And I shared the verse in 1 Corinthians. I'll read it here. It says, but with me, it is a very small thing that I should be judged by you or by a human in court. In fact, I do not even judge myself, for I know of nothing against myself, yet I am not justified by this. But he who judges me is the Lord. And I'd been reading that verse for a while, and then them sharing that about, caring about what people think. A lot of people, even if you say, I don't care what somebody thinks about me, I would say that almost every human cares to some degree what other people think about them, some more than others. But Chili would probably say, no, I don't. I really don't. And, he's one that comes in my head that might dispute my claim there. But I would say to some degree, whether he realizes it or not, everybody has a small degree of care what other people, somebody thinks about them. And it was interesting that Paul says here that it's a very small thing that he should be judged by the Corinthians or by any human court. And he says, and a matter of fact, I don't even judge myself. And I don't know of anything that I'm doing wrong right now, but that still doesn't justify me. That doesn't justify my actions just because I don't know that I'm doing wrong, because I'm not justified by myself or by a judgment of anybody earthly. I'm justified by God who judges me. And so, I don't know, I like that meeting that we had. I like that quote that you shared about not learning in plenty, so then you learn in necessity, and how those things that that we have that we ignore in the front country that allows us to ignore them because we have all these other comforts. You can get by a really long time with those until you can't. And so the results of ignoring those are prolonged in the front country, but in the back country, the results of ignoring those are immediate. So when you're on the side of a 12,000 foot mountain and you're not paying attention and you let your emotions take over, you might slip and fall and kill yourself, and that's an immediate result. But you don't control your emotions in the front country, and you lash out at people and you yell at your family and you act out of emotion a lot. Well, you can do that for a long time, and eventually your kids are going to pick up that habit, and then they're going to turn into that person who is not productive, who is not handling themselves correctly. Maybe your wife leaves you because she's tired of getting yelled at, or your husband if you're a lady. And so the things that happen, you do that long enough, the result eventually catches up with you. And so there's a quote, and Chili kind of alluded to it out there, but it basically says that basically the mountains have a lot to give to us, and it's because they have so much to give, and that's why we keep coming back to them, because they show us things about ourselves when we get kind of stripped down, and that's what they're showing us. So those things that we're ignoring in the front country, they're showing us them through an immediate result so that we can work on them. God's showing us that through that environment so that we can work on them back home. And so that's kind of what I guess got out of the whole trip.
Yeah, that really did become the theme of that team there. And the poem that I read, kind of just to explain the context of what it's saying in terms of, for those who will not learn in plenty, they have to learn through necessity. And what he's talking about is, how do you guys apply this in your day-to-day life? As I imagine the majority of you guys are Americans, the majority of you guys probably don't have to worry about where your next meal's coming from. You have shelter, you have all your necessities met, for the most part. I'm just making that assumption that the majority of viewers have the necessities met. The reason that our lives as Americans or people living in a first world country, the reason that our lives become so complex and so cumbersome and so arduous, and the reason that we struggle the way we struggle with whatever it may be. For you, it may be depression. For some of you guys, it may be anger. For some of you guys, it may be anxiety about all these things and the complexities of your life. The reason our lives are so complex is because there is no longer a need to meet the very necessities of what we need as humans to survive. So in the absence of the necessity, when you have plenty, it can actually destroy you. Now, you can have plenty if you can keep in mind and keep in perspective the necessities. So you can be healthy in plenty, all right? But you have to really revisit the necessities that we all need as human beings. So the writer of this poem actually ends the poem with saying, please God, send thy necessity. Because when we get back to actually having to focus on the necessities of what it takes to live our lives, it all of a sudden becomes very simple, right? And simplicity will set us free or release us in many ways from worry, depression, anxiety, anger, all these complex emotions that we feel from the complexity of our lives. Now, I think, and out on the mountain, it was for that team, as physically capable as they were, the first day, it was easy for them the first day. All right? And so because it was easy, because they weren't having to focus on the necessities, which out there in that environment, the necessities are to eat, drink, and move in the right direction safely. That's the necessities. But because those were easily met, they started to overcomplicate everything. They were coming up with things.
Manufacturing their own
They
problems.
were manufacturing other problems and coming up with things, and it was getting overcomplicated, right? So if you can't learn to be happy and live in peace with plenty, maybe you're struggling with that. It's not a bad idea to look around you sometimes and say, okay, what do I need to get rid of here? I need to thin some stuff out, and I need to get back down to maybe not the very barest necessities, but I need to really think about, what do I actually need? All right, food, water, shelter, the simple things, and that is going to, should open you up to a more peaceful time in your life. And I think all of us have to go through these. I think for me and you, Biscuit, seems like I talked about it the other day because we were talking about moving. I was like, oh, well, it's time for our 3-year purge.
2 year.
2 year. Yeah. Me and Biscuit have moved about every 2 years for the last.
Since 2012.
Yeah. Since 2012. We've even, for me, even way before that.
Yeah.
And
I guess for both of us, San Diego and Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And
2008.
Yeah. 08. And so that's actually been good for us, I think, moving every couple of years, because every time you move, you look around at all the freaking crap you've acquired. That most of the crap is just useless. Mm-hmm. It's just bogging you down. It's just cluttering your mind, man. When you look at it, you think about it. I even think about all the daggone guns I have, man. It's ridiculous.
And gear.
Oh, yeah, guns and gear and bicycles and clothes and all this stuff. Just to even think about it. Especially things that are valuable like guns, like, I have to have a place to put them. I have to make sure they're locked up. And, it's like, come on, man. It gets cumbersome. It causes anxiety. It causes just in every little aspect is one more little thing that you're piling on to yourself. What were you going to say, Chill?
This relates to contentment in some way too, that I'm sitting here trying to figure out. Like being content with plenty or being content with just the necessities.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not what that quote is really referring to, but it's what comes into my mind, I think, with so many people feel like they're only going to be content if they have the plenty. Mm-hmm. But then, so that's what they're chasing. That's what they spend all of their time and energy and resources chasing. But then often when they get there, they start yearning for just the necessity because it doesn't make them content.
I was reading the other day in the Bible, and I don't remember where, but where's, I guess it's in Philippians. Is that where Paul's talking about being content?
He probably talks about it a couple different times.
Anyways.
Oh, yeah, it is in Philippians, yeah.
So I was reading some commentary on that, and it was saying that word that they use content for is actually means contain, like within. And he was saying that what Paul is saying when he's saying I can be content is that he contains within him what he needs to be able to, I guess, sort of accept, survive, thrive, any of those in whatever situation he's in. So the power he needs is contained within him, not without him. So it's not these external things that are making him content. It's the thing that's on the inside of him that's making him content. And I thought that was interesting because I'd never thought of it that way, of that really the only way you can be content is by containing the Holy Spirit inside of you. and not the things outside of you. That material things and possessions don't make you content at all. They actually just make you want more.
Well, it's interesting that you were reading that because I've been thinking a lot about contentment, and I think that's why my mind went there when he just read that quote again. And I do want to correct some of the language that I just used in what I said about contentment, because I've been trying to fix this, and I think one way that I'll fix it is by catching myself doing it and then calling it out. I said, I do this a lot. I said, I think a lot of people struggle with this, XYZ, with contentment. What I mean is I do. But then I think I just lead that in to say something by going, oh yeah, this is a struggle. No, I do. So let me just fix that because I need to start trying to work on that. But anyway, I do. I think that's a big problem with me is thinking something is going to make me more content or more, it's like I'm just missing this thing or this. And I'm not big on things really, but I do that. And I don't know if maybe people can relate to that, but basically what that quote makes me think of, even though it's not really directly talking about this, is, man, when you or when you're contained, it's when everything's in the right place, all you need is the necessities, and that's it. And oftentimes more than that is just a burden. So
I think the necessities, it's like you have opportunities to overindulge, but like you're saying, the time we live in of plenty, for me, it's like I had to learn to meter myself. Otherwise, I could spend money. I could find joy and happiness that way. I could overeat. I could eat junk food. I could watch TV. I could scroll social media. There's so many things at our fingertips that are this instant gratification that lead to wanting more and that lead to feeling lower than you felt before you engaged in the activity. And I think that's why all this new stuff that's coming about, that's like chosen suffering, like sauna and cold plunge and physical activity, is taking on so much because it's balancing this time of plenty that we live in. Because it's difficult to choose not to buy that thing and fill your house with all the clutter. And it's difficult in the evenings when you're tired and you just want to space out, turning on a really engaging TV show rather than opening a book. And like making good, balanced decisions when you're surrounded by plenty to keep yourself regulated and to not start feeling a lack of contentment. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, and I'm confused why it seems like I have to learn that lesson over and over again too. Like,
Something to do with human nature.
well, yeah, because I think of that Blake will like this, that SpongeBob quote. How many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man? It's like I don't know how many times I have to learn the lesson that like getting something out, getting something new, or getting a little bit faster at running, or like whatever your goal is, like, oh, I'll get this goal and then I'll be more content. It's like, no, man, you're not. So I don't know why I have to keep learn that lesson. That's kind of confusing to me.
Well, humans are, I guess in some way like squirrels. Like we want to hoard up things. We want to continue. That it's like you're never. It's so hard to satisfy the nature of man.
It's instinctual for us.
Yeah, it really is. I come at this from a little more, I guess, a little different perspective than like what Chili's talking about. Like, why do I want to get a little better at this? Or Biscuit, you're talking about kind of the more physical nature of kind of counterbalancing the time of plenty. Well, I want to come about it from my perspective, from like as simple as the actual things. Because Chili said he doesn't struggle with things. Biscuit, you don't struggle with things. Mm-mm. But if you guys watching on YouTube or listening, if you walked into my gear room, you would see I have a lot of things.
Well, you've always, every house we've had, if we have an extra bedroom, it's your bedroom for your stuff.
I need a whole room
Yeah.
to put my, gear and bicycles and running stuff and out, camping stuff and, all this. And so, but what I've noticed for me personally, I think about this, and after the Alpine mission, I thought about this. Every time we go out into the backcountry and we spend multiple days, or maybe it's TNGA or whatever, we spend multiple days out in this harsh environment, and the only things that we have are what we have on our back. That's it. And like, we're able to be completely self-sufficient out there and endure whatever the environment throws at us with just this little bit of stuff that we have on our backs. And those times when I'm out there like that is when I feel most content, I guess you could say. That's when I feel the freest.
And what do you do with your backpack before you go out? You trying to trim that thing down?
Yeah, you're trying less and less and less. The absolute necessities. That's right.
So when you're going and doing stuff, you don't want all that extra crap. All it does is just weigh you down, and you don't end up using it half the time anyways. You're trying to trim your pack down.
So that being said, one of the things that I have failed at a lot and that I continue to fail at is I love the quote in, have you guys ever seen No Country for Old Men? I know. Yeah. We went and watched that movie when I graduated Navy boot camp at a theater up in Great Lakes when it first came out. That's still one of my all-time favorite movies. But the crazy guy, I forget what actor he's played by, but he's the dude that's walking around in No Country for Old Men. He's got the little cattle thing, and he's killing people with it. He says at one point in that movie, this guy's real particular, and he says, you pick the one right tool. You pick the one right tool. So for me in the lifestyle I like to live, I have to have tools to enable me to do the things that I want to do. Like if I want to do a bike race, I have to have a bike. If I want to go out in the backcountry, I have to have a sleeping bag. I have to have a shelter. I have to have those things. But where I fail at is I will buy 3 sleeping bags, or I will buy 2 bicycles, or it's like I need to think more about, what is it exactly that I want to accomplish, and I need to pick the one right tool that fits that fits or allows me gives me the broadest range of capabilities within the activity that I want to do. Right? So that's something that I think is a good principle when you're thinking about buying a thing, whether it's a vehicle, whether it's a sleeping bag, whether it's a bike, whether it's a pair of running shorts, whether it's a t-shirt. Like, how close can I get to just buying the one right tool?
Yeah.
Right? Now, you may not be able to nail it. Because like Chili's mentioned in the past, you can't have one bicycle that does everything.
Yeah.
Okay? But you should try to get as close as you can get within the activity or the thing that you're trying to accomplish. You should get as close as you can get to buying the one right tool. And that's going to lessen the amount of sleeping bags and running shoes and clothes and all that crap that you freaking have, man.
Well, and I will say for you particularly, although you've got a lot of gear, you're very generous with sharing it with, like, if somebody wanted to use your bike, if somebody wanted to sleep, if somebody wanted any of that gear in there, you'd just be like, yeah, go get it. And so,
this is the way. I was just about to talk about this, Blake.
Oh,
okay. So, well, good. I set you up.
This is the way
That's called a segue.
This is the way I've been able for you guys. I don't know if this is practical for you guys or not, because I don't know how I do it, but maybe it's something for you to strive for.
Not because you do it, but maybe because this is biblical.
Well, because it worked. Yeah, I mean, it worked.
It sounded like maybe you were telling him to strive for it because you do it, and I know you weren't, so I'm
it's
just
actually
clarifying.
just because it's worked for me.
Yeah.
So, because I do have a lot of stuff, the only way that I've been able to minimize the like cumbersomeness of all that stuff, or the way that I've been able to avoid, like, to a certain level, being a slave to all of my stuff and constantly obsessing over it, is I try, even though I have all that stuff and gear and all this, I try my best to have a perspective of my stuff, of that none of it actually belongs to me. So in other words, I try to live my life as if I have nothing. I just simply have resources, but those resources, I'm not trying to hoard them. Like Blake said,
Wow.
you know, if Blake wants to come get my bike, or Chili wants to come get my bike to ride it, come get it. I don't care, man. Like, if you want to use, I mean, I gotta trust you. Like,
you don't let me use a lot of your stuff.
well, you destroy stuff. That's what I'm saying. I have to trust you. I mean, I'm not going to loan my stuff out to somebody who's just going to intentionally destroy it. But detaching,
His bike's actually your bike.
That's what I was thinking.
detaching from like having as least amount of emotional attachment to any one thing. Like, I have had to be really aware of that with that Land Cruiser. Because that was like a dream come true to me, to have a vehicle like that. And I was bordering on the edge of having a unhealthy emotional attachment to that vehicle.
And it's half mine.
Yeah. And so I gave half of it to Blake.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to do, man. At least that's what I do to kind of overcome this.
Well, that's called, I mean, that's stewarding what the Lord has blessed you with. That's what that principle is. Like, you were able to get these things, and yes, you are in control of them, and it's up to you and kind of ultimately who uses them and how you use them. And that's what stewardship is. It's like, I have this thing, I have this resource, whether it's a material or money or time. We all have resources, and it's how you use them. Are you using them openly, allowing other people to take advantage of them when you're not, or even when you are? And that's where that ties back into the Bible, is stewardship. Mm-hmm. How we utilize our resources that we have.
It's difficult to own half of a Land Cruiser, though.
Yeah, where did that happen?
Who owns the driver's side?
Oh, it's front and back. I've got the steering wheel and drivetrain and all. He's got the back seat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of how that goes.
Yeah. Now,
I could just cut it in half.
but yeah, well, I won't go any more in depth to that. Just something to think about. You got anything else on this topic, Boo Boo?
I can't really relate to this.
I just want to make sure I opened up a place for you to speak. Is there anything on your mind today, Boo Boo?
This is weird. You were like attacking me and trying to antagonize me earlier, and now you're being really nice.
You had to have something on your mind. You usually only come when you've got like something.
Yeah. Well, I'm the immaculate lover, Boo Boo.
Ugh.
So I wanted to create some space in the room.
All right. Well, you've done it.
for
Now
you
let
to
her
open
talk.
up.
Sounds like a romance novel.
I don't know. I mean, I've been thinking about stuff this whole podcast, but I don't know. You put me on the spot. It's hard for me when you do the transitions, like when you're talking and then you're just like, okay, do you have anything to say? Like
It's like he's already out the door and he's like,
yeah, it's hard for me to like, be on the spot and tell you.
Well, I want to apologize for making things hard for you. That's really poor leadership on my behalf. So
Chili, do you think he's being sincere?
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
I do want to apologize for that.
Thank you.
Man, we got 550 people on here right now.
What the crap, man? YouTube, man.
Can I tell you what I was thinking about while you were saying that?
Yes, ma'am, darling.
I was thinking about what you were saying, and I was thinking about how it could relate to other people who don't get enjoyment out of things. And name it. Like, people get enjoyment out of different things. You love buying something new. That's like one of your things. Like, I love eating food, or I love indulging in like a trashy TV show, or I like scrolling Instagram. Like, there's just things that I can overindulge in. And I was thinking about, is there a cue or a level for us that's like pretty definable as Christians that we've gone too far with indulging in worldly cultural things? Like, my mind tells me we shouldn't be indulging them at all, period. So are we making excuses for ourselves that, like, well, we live in this world. It's okay that we have an Instagram, and it's okay that we buy things we don't need just for fun, and it's okay, like, or do we think that Jesus is like, all right, guys, I know you have to live in the time you live in, so, like, I'll permit you scrolling Instagram as long as you don't look at naked women.
13 minutes a day.
Yeah, like, I mean, is there a sign?
So there is a cue for me. Yes, it's a great question. It's interesting because there's not like I don't know that you could put a definable parameter on it.
Everybody's going to be different.
Yeah. So the cue for me, and the reason that this is such a great question is because I'm actually feeling this right now in my own life, is whenever I'm indulging too much in something, or essentially what it is, to really put it in black and white terms, is whenever I'm worshiping something, whenever I've made something or put something before my relationship with Christ, I feel conviction around that. I really do, man. What it is, it's the prompt or the cue is coming from the Holy Spirit. Now, I can feel that over and over and over again and know it's happening. That's coming from the Holy Spirit. There's no other reason I should be feeling that, right? Because the thing I'm indulging in is obviously making me feel good. So there's no other reason that I should be feeling I need to stop doing so much of this thing that's making me feel good, like scrolling Instagram, checking social media, keeping up with all that crap, right? It's made to make you feel good.
Right.
So what is this thing in me prompting me saying you should stop doing so much of that thing that's making you feel so good? To me, it's the Holy Spirit in me prompting me, right? And now I can get that over and over again. Well, it's on me to make the lifestyle change, because he can keep prompting me over and over again, which happens quite often. And if I choose not to make the change, then that's on me, and it's probably going to, in some way, shape, or form, lead to my own destruction.
You'll learn a necessity.
Yeah, it's going to lead me. It's going to lead me to a situation where I have to learn through necessity. So the Holy Spirit provides the prompt. For me, it's very interesting. Okay, I think about, what am I being prompted at right now? I've thought about for the last week or two how much more time I spend scrolling my social media or checking social media than I spend in studying Scripture, in prayer, in helping others, in it's something as simple as this is a new thing for me yesterday. I thought, how much time do I spend scrolling this stupid social media when, you know what I could do? I could find some random people on this social media that follow me. How about I just send them a message just saying, hey, man, just wanted to say, hey, I hope you're doing well. Wanted to check in on you. Maybe say a little prayer for them or something like that, and just send it to them, man. Like, I spend so much more time making myself feel good that literally, if you want to get down to the bones of it, I'm putting my own desires in my own, what do they call it, dopamine. I'm putting that freaking crap over my duty as a child, a son of Christ, man. I see all the time. Look, this is something that hits me hard, man, because I read my Bible every morning. But, you know, again, I may spend 20 minutes reading my Bible and then say a little prayer in the morning. And then what do I spend on social media today? 2 hours, sometimes, some days up to 4 hours. But I'll set my Bible on a coffee table, and throughout the day, I don't know. I'd like to know, YouTube, do you guys ever experience this? Throughout the day, I'll see things that end up on top of my Bible. And that, to me, is this strange indicator of what I'm putting above God. What is God in my... How many times a day do I see my Bible sitting on the living room table and my phone is on top of my Bible? I see it so many times a day. How many times... Look, over the last couple of days, I've seen my Bible sitting on the table, and I've seen money sitting on top of my Bible. I've seen this can of nicotine sitting on top of my Bible. It's really, really weird, man. And I don't know if this crap is just happening because of whatever, or if it's like the Holy Spirit like is showing me this, man. And it's a prompt for me. Like, that's the order. Your phone right there on top of your Bible. That's the order, buddy. And I'm like, oh crap. Have any of y'all on YouTube ever experienced that?
A bunch of people are saying they don't ever put anything on top of their Bible. Kind of viewing it like you said. Robert Lee had a good thing. He said, don't ever close your Bible. Just leave it open. He's saying only open Bibles.
That's good stuff, man.
Do work. But yeah, I mean, an open book, you're not going to lay something on top of it because you don't want to damage the pages or, whatever reason, but you close it and it's kind of like, all right, this thing's put away for a while.
Yeah.
It's just a different mindset.
Yeah, no, I like that. I really like that. I'm open to all this feedback. Now, I'm not saying that it's I'm not going to go as far as to say that it's just like a blasphemy to set something on top of the Bible. Like, I can't go that far. No. I'm not going to go that far. But the things that I see, because my Bible is out in the common space in our house, the things that I see on top of it are generally indicators of things that I'm putting more time into or that I'm putting before God. It's a really strange thing, man. I've always wondered if anybody else experiences that.
And
go ahead.
You go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to, go back to what you were talking about with your time, how, you spend a lot of time on social media, but like, how could it be used better? And we've talked about this before about how we contrast in those, because you with your material things, you're fine. You're like your material resources. We'll just call them resources. You're fine. Like, yeah, come get it. That's cool. I don't care. But you with your your resource of time are very guarded. Like, you want to be sure I'm going to use this time. Sometimes it's for what I want to use it for. And sometimes, no, I don't think that's valuable. And you should care about using your resources for things that are valuable. And me, on the other hand, my material things, I don't like to let people borrow them. I like things to be, I'm very particular. I like them to be well kept in the right place. And I had a brother that messed up a lot of my stuff, and that may have contributed to it, but I think that's part of my personality too. But with my time, like, I don't care. Like, I don't know why, but I'll just go help somebody, or if and I don't need anything in return. Maybe they're even abusing my time. That doesn't really make me mad. But if somebody abused a piece of gear that I gave them or some material thing, I would be upset about it. But if they abuse my time, I'm just like, well, that's okay. And so it's just odd how we view our resources differently. And so, it's easy for you with material things. It's hard for me. It's easy for me with time, but hard for you. And the things that are hard is what you got to lean into. You can't say, oh, well, I'm good with loaning out my material things. And so that's good. I'm doing good there. But now my time, I'm going to do this. And likewise, I can't say this, just the opposite of that. And so you have to be conscious of the things that I guess aren't instinctual or aren't easy for you, and lean into those that are hard, because that's where you make a bigger difference and get better. And because people know you're that way, but for them to get a text from you or call from you is going to, really just mean maybe 10 times as much as it means from somebody, because they know that's that's difficult for you to do. So they know that you're actually putting in a lot of effort to make that happen.
I have been totally aware of this season that I have been in my life for the last couple of months. I'm totally aware of it, and I have not worked up the gumption to do anything about it. But speaking of hoarding my time, I've been in a season in my life where I don't want anyone to engage me on anything, except for people, like very few people, like Chili, Blake, and Brooke. Pretty much people sitting in this room. I like today at the restaurant when the guy was trying to talk to me about my Land Cruiser.
Yeah, you didn't want to hear
it was bothering me. Like you're engaging me right now, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
And dude, literally for the last probably 2 months
Longer.
Yeah.
I've quit going to town. I used to go to town every single day. I've quit going to town, except for maybe like once a week. Like if I absolutely need to do something. I've quit going to the gym. You know the reason I quit going to the gym? Not because I don't want to work out, because I don't want anybody to talk to me. I just want to be able to go in there, get my workout in, and leave. But I know someone is going to want to talk to me.
Well, yeah, because
that's not a bad thing.
Right.
I'm saying I'm completely aware of this this rut that I'm stuck in. That's like, and you know what I think what has brought it on a little bit. I've always, like Blake said, I've always been one to kind of hoard my time, but I've never been quite as selfish as I'm being in this season with my time. I think one thing that kind of brought it on is the fact, and maybe I'm totally wrong, but the fact that things have gotten to the point now that almost every time we go out in public, somebody recognizes me and comes and talks to me. In any city, in any town, and maybe it's just a short exchange. But I don't know that I'm not cut out for that. It doesn't mean that I can't or shouldn't do that. It is the path I have been called to walk. But I haven't quite learned how to handle that or like be in a healthy relationship with that.
Well,
I don't know why. I just think that that's kind of what drove me to this full hermit mode, man.
I think you got to get to the point that it's not how do I handle this. It's like you got to make it about the other person. Like, what an opportunity. Like, I can go to town and people will approach me and I can make their day. You have an audience with anybody that comes up to you. They wouldn't be coming up to you if they didn't have respect for you or appreciate. And so you have the floor to share whatever you want to share. And, not to be, churchy if you want to say it, but you have the answer. You have the gospel, and you don't have to present that in Bible thumping way every time, but you can act in a way that shows that to them. And many people would kill to have that opportunity. So you got to stop thinking about like, oh, I don't want this to happen. I don't want to talk to you. Go into town and maybe you just do it once a week because it is difficult. And you say, you know what, today I'm going to go into town and anybody that approaches me, it's going to be about them. I'm going there for the purpose of getting approached and make the interaction about that person. And I don't know if you go do things because you know that it's not natural to you and you make it about that, you will get better at it. Like I look for opportunities to give people money, to let people borrow things because I know I don't want to do that. And when I do it, it gets a little bit easier every time. And so you have to go seek those opportunities out and not keep saying, oh gosh, I don't want to talk to nobody. I hope nobody approaches me. I don't want to be seen. And so,
well, I will say I am conscious of it, and I am aware that it's a process that I am currently working through and need to continue to work through. It's just such a strange thing because it's the opposite of essentially what would be easy for me, because like when I was a kid, I played by myself. I've always loved time by myself. My whole life, adult life, in the SEAL teams and even prior to that, working on a farm, it's like nobody has ever wanted to approach me for any reason. Just because I've just always been anonymous, and I've never, just never been that type. So it always goes back to, it's interesting how when you choose to accept Christ and live for Christ, that he's going to call you to a path that's going to challenge you in some unique way. He's not going to call you to the thing that fits the way you want to be perfectly. Yeah, he's going to use your natural, the gifts that you've been given and the things that you're good at. He's going to use that, but there's going to be some part of it that's going to challenge you almost I would say in every single situation. Yeah. The most dangerous place for a Christian to be is in this place of total comfort and complacency. So,
yeah, but you got, when you realize those things, it's not good enough to just say, I realize it and I need to work on it. Like,
no, I said I'm working on it.
I know, but I went
to the dang gym this week, man.
Then you need to stop complaining about how I hate going to town. I quit going. You need to quit saying that crap and just go do it for the purpose of other people.
I was telling it to the listeners.
I know, but you've said it plenty of other times outside of the list. How many times he told us, Chili, I hate going to town. Man, I go to town. If I ain't got to go all week, I just don't go. I hate it, man.
He's integrated some of the things that you want to work on. You've integrated them into your identity.
Yeah.
And it's going to be difficult to break free of that.
You ain't going to come around here telling me what you need to work on, and I'm just going to say, yeah.
Has anybody on YouTube ever struggled with going full hermit?
I'm sure they have, but
I was wondering if we had any other full hermits on here.
Hermit Green.
One guy said something.
Sherbet Green disappeared.
Oh, Sadie Jones.
Justin
I guess this is
some time off.
Maybe a lady. I don't know, but they said, I think if I quit socializing, I would begin to hate everybody. I thought that was that's an interesting thought, that if you will keep socializing with people and talking to people, there is a lot of bad out there, but you will see the good in humanity through that. But if you stop socializing with them, you're going to think everybody sucks, everybody's lying, everybody's deceiving, cheating, stealing, all of these things, because that's just what's out there. So I thought that was interesting.
To me, the lesser amount of deep relationships you have, the less tolerance and understanding you're going to have for different people, because you're operating in an environment where you are only close to your wife, your brother, and the guy who's just like you. So of course you're going to feel a lot of friction entering in with these people who are so different, because you're in this little culture bubble. But if you had more friendships that were deeper and you got to be around people that were different and you saw the good and bad, I think it would ease you into that, because it probably does feel abrasive to be around people who aren't like us. You're like, how do I treat this person? Why are they acting like this?
And it's kind of, it's kind of awkward too. Like, this is never in history has somebody been able, until recently, been able to go around and people all over the country know who they are and them not know who that person is on some level. Mm-hmm. And so it is kind of, I think, awkward just for any human to experience that. And like, you kind of, how do you react? Oh, thanks for watching the video. I appreciate what you said. But then, kind of maybe thinking through, instead of just that natural generic response, something that you can share a value with the person to make that exchange profitable for them and you. But
I would not want your position, and I love people and I value relationships deeply, but I don't want people idolizing me. I don't want people buying the shirt that I wore last week. I don't want and like you said, Blake, I've felt the energy of people approaching him, and he has a lot of really down to earth people.
Yeah, I'm a freaking megastar, man.
When you just ruined this whole conversation. You just ruined the whole thing.
I said that for chili.
When the couple times recently,
Mr. Worldwide,
we have had people who are super down to earth. Like, we'll be eating and they'll be like, hey, I know you're eating. Just wanted to say I love your content. Appreciate what you're doing. Thanks.
Yeah.
And they walk away. But there are the people who approach him who are just like, they approach him. I love your stuff so much. Thank you. And then they just leave this space, and Chad has to fill that space.
yeah.
And I have felt it before where I'm like, oh, and it takes a lot to make me feel awkward, and I'll even feel it. I'm like, what do you say? Like, what do you, and I've seen you do really well with it too.
Well,
I mean,
in all this conversation, I do want to say this. The fact that I have this tendency to be a hermit and not want to be approached doesn't mean that I don't, in a big way, appreciate the people who do support me.
Well, yeah.
And who do let me know that maybe they got something out of something that I might have said, or maybe something that I did inspired them. So this problem that I'm having is my problem. It's not, if you've approached me in the past, don't think that you're creating a problem for me. No, I have a problem that I've created for myself. You're not creating that problem. It's just something that I struggle with internally, okay? So when we were out on TNGA, we came down off a high tower, and there's this young man and his wife that had been standing there for hours waiting for me to come down off a high tower on my bicycle so that they could give me a bottle of water and tell me thank you. And this young man's running his first 100-mile race, the Georgia Jewel, as a matter of fact. And he talked about how what we've done at 307 Project has inspired him to run his first 100-mile race. And he's been waiting there. And I take the time and spend time with him. And that is rewarding. So I don't want listeners, people listening to this, get this confused. I'm just kind of letting you guys know something that I'm struggling with working through, because maybe in some way, shape, or form, maybe in your town, you have some leadership role. Maybe you're a business owner. Maybe you're a Christian, and you're also struggling with this same thing of engaging people and just fighting off this desire to become a full-on hermit. We're pointing it out to make the point that it is not an acceptable way, especially for a Christian, to operate. All right?
Yeah, and everybody on here, think about what that is in your own life, because you might say, oh, yeah, I'm good. I love to talk to people and socialize. Well, well, there's something else in your life that you are this way about. And so think about that in your own life of what it is that's difficult for you to do and fix it.
And just because you don't know or you haven't realized it yet doesn't give you a pass for it, right?
That's right. It's what the Apostle Paul said. I don't even know what I'm doing wrong, but that doesn't justify me.
Yeah.
What do you think, Chili? Like, that's not an excuse that they don't know. So you're kind of saying it's on them to figure it out?
Well, me and Blake have just been talking about this since the Alpine trip, but I mean, just the point that is being made is that I would say all of us are doing something wrong that we don't even realize. I mean, maybe not everybody, but I would say everybody on the planet is doing something wrong, but they don't even realize that it's wrong, but you're still held to account for that. I mean, it's still wrong.
Yeah.
Like, just because you don't know that it's wrong doesn't give you a pass for doing the wrong thing. You still did something wrong. And that's all I'm trying to say.
That's a good point, Chili.
Well, it's not my point, but
It's a real good point. This episode brought to you by HOIST, our hydration partners. Come on, man. HOIST is some good stuff. Made in America, battlefield tested, warfighter approved. Got 70 calories. It's got potassium, magnesium, sodium. Got some carbs in it. Got everything you need to keep you hydrated, keep you running, keep you working, keep you biking, keep you lifting longer, especially in this daggone Georgia heat, son. HOIST, an amazing product, amazing people. They've been our partners here at 3 of 7 Project for going on years. They support us in everything that we do. They keep us going in all of our endeavors. It comes highly recommended as your hydration supplement. I'll be using this stuff on the race we got coming up here in, a week, Blake?
Yeah.
Week or two? I'll be using HOIST there, 100-mile race. We started using it on the treadmill race. I've used it on TNGA. I used it for freaking 4.5, 5 days straight on Cocodona. It doesn't upset your stomach, keeps you going. Got everything you need, and just good, solid people behind the brand. They make a difference here at 3 of 7 Project. And if you enjoy this podcast, it makes a difference that you go and support the companies who support the podcast. Because that's how it all works, man. The reason we're able to do this is because of our partners like HOIST and our Patreon members. You guys empower us and enable us to live out basically our design for our lives. So thank you, HOIST. Go get you some, man, at drinkhoist.com. You can just set up a subscription with them if you want to, and they just send it to your house. That's what they do here. We have a certain amount that we know we use, and it comes right here to the house. We keep it here in the office, and this keeps us going. So thank you, HOIST.
We got some super chats in the comments here today.
Come on, man.
Yeah, these people, we got a lot of them. Matthew Scott, he gave $20, no message, but
Thank you, Matthew.
$20. Atlanta's welder, our buddy Clint, he said, buy once, cry once. Y'all are dialed in today. $4.99.
Dialed in.
Thank you, Clint.
TJ McLaughlin, we know him. He gave $5.
Thank you, TJ.
And Jonathan, another $5. So
Jonathan, we appreciate that,
Crazy.
man. It's unbelievable that you guys give your hard-earned money to support the show. It just continuously just is astounding to me, and want to let you know how much we appreciate it and how much it means to us, because you guys that listen to this show and support 3 of 7 Project, I don't think you understand. You guys have went above and beyond any of our expectations that we could have ever had for this podcast, for the YouTube channel, for the training that we do. You guys have literally come alongside us and allowed us to do everything that we do and you have exceeded what we could have ever imagined doing as a team here at 307 Project. And it only happens because of y'all. And we're going to keep doing our best to do our part and train people and reach people and change people's lives and spread the gospel and everything we've been called to do, because you guys keep doing your part. And so thank you guys for that. Every one of you that listen today, it means a tremendous amount to us.
Dang, Moses 84 just gave $100.
Moses, unbelievable,
He
man.
said, appreciate you all.
Unbelievable, man. I mean, just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, we hope y'all got something out of this episode today. As I shared my struggle with you guys, we talked about getting back to necessities and remembering our place, even when we're in times of plenty. That's all I got for today's episode. I thought that was a good conversation.
Chili's face is showing now.
People are so mad about Chili hiding his face on YouTube.
Chili's face is showing, and I think he's wearing his mom's sunglasses.
We love you guys. Enough said.